Hi guys, Balls96 for the O is a 0 following EAFC 24's release of the Premier League Team of the Season, and considering the fact they didn't let us vote on it this year, I thought it would be a good opportunity to make a video showing everyone my Premier League Team of the Season. I've also included a small little bit of honourable mentions to pay respects to those players who didn't quite make the cut, and I've also maybe picked one or two contentious players within my starting 11. So if you want to see who you may agree or not agree with in my team this season, make sure to stick around and watch the rest of this video. Goalkeeper Alisson. First things first, let's talk the formation, as I can acknowledge that it's a bit of a different one for these usual best XIs. Rather than the usual 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 formation, I've opted for a 3-4-1-2 formation, and there is a very specific reason why. I don't really think there's been many standout fullbacks. There isn't really any fullback who has absolutely blown people away this season. Trent was having a great season before his injury woes, whereas Ben White has had an excellent season overall, as has Destiny Udogie on the other side, but there are other players to come in this team who I just had to try and make space for in this team, so the fullbacks had to be sacrificed. Onto this first entry then, and I have gone for the Liverpool man Alisson. This could be a contentious pick, as I know a lot of people would point to David Raya, who is top of the charts for most clean sheets, and although I do really like Raya, I think that is much more down to the brilliant defence that he has had in front of him rather than his own ability. In 29 matches, David Raya has faced just 64 shots on target so far this season, saving 41 of those shots and conceding 23 goals, whereas Alisson in only 25 matches has had to face 100 shots on target, saving 75 of those and conceding just 2 goals more than Raya, with a total of 25 goals conceded so far. To have conceded only 2 goals more than Raya, having faced 156% of the amount of shots that Raya has faced, is surely enough to prove he has had a better individual season, isn't it? Let me know in the comments. Centre-back William Saliba, the first of my 3 centre-backs in this team, and it has to be William Saliba. After such a tremendous season last year, it was hard to see that he could step up from that, but as with the whole team, he definitely has. Arsenal have the most clean sheets this season with 16 from 35 games played, which is the easiest indication you need that Arsenal have been the best defensive unit in the league this season, and Saliba has featured in every single minute of the season within that best defensive unit. At just 23 years of age, he has grown into one of the best defenders in the league, and I think there is a fair few of you who would argue that he is the best. His physical presence is actually quite reminiscent of a certain Liverpool defender who has been lauded for years. Height, strength and speed are 3 physical traits that Saliba absolutely excels in, and then when you supplement that with the technical ability that he possesses within that passing team, just look at those passing stats and you have a recipe for not just success but for greatness as well. It's funny because when you look at his underlying defensive stats, he's not in the upper percentile of any of the categories per 90 really, but I am certain that 99% of people, with me included, would still be picking him in their team of the season, and you just have to watch Saliba to see why. Centre-back Gabriel, second defender and the second from Arsenal. William Saliba's defensive partner Gabriel slotted himself into my team of the season for the 2nd year running. The perfect mould to Saliba's technical game, Gabriel is more of the destroyer within that Arsenal defensive unit. A big and powerful defender who loves to get stuck into any attacker who has the absolute goal to try and get by him. The guy is a monster. Having played in 33 of 35 games so far in the league, Gabriel has also been an ever-present within the best defensive unit in the league, and to add to the clean sheets under his belt, he also likes a goal as well. 4 goals so far this season, meaning that Gabriel has managed to score in more than 10% of the games that he has featured in, which as a centre-back is absolutely top-notch. I do feel like Saliba takes some of the plaudits off of Gabriel, but I think Arsenal fans would tell you that Gabriel is just as important to them. Centre-back Virgil van Dijk, last of the defenders, and for me, the best of them. Virgil hasn't quite got back up to the astronomical heights of his performances prior to that awful injury against Everton a few seasons ago, but this season really has been the return of him. The guy has just been imperious. The players around him have been constantly changing through injuries, and he has had to remain as the one constant to try and lead such an afflicted defensive line. Trent has missed 10 games, Konate has missed 13, and Robbo has missed 14. The players around him have changed every single game played, whether it be a centre-back partner or one of the world-class fullbacks. He has always had to deal with a mixed defence, usually with those coming in being youth players. He has led the Liverpool team in his first season as captain in unbelievable fashion to win the Carabao Cup final and being within a 3-horse title race despite all of those injuries and a brand new midfield sitting in front of him. A dominant force at the back with an unbelievable amount of aerial duels won to evidence that Verge is a tower of a defender and has stood strong within a completely decimated defence. What an outrageous back three. But comment down below if you think there is a different centre-back in the Premier League this season who should be making it in here. Centre-mid Declan Rice. There was no doubting that Declan Rice simply had to make it into this team. His first season with Arsenal has been completely incredible from a personal perspective. Never mind a team on. He's been the exact type of player who Arsenal were missing in their push for the title last season. An excellently all-rounded midfielder who can break up the play in front of his team, get his head up and ping a ball to the attacking players to devastate the opposition. And that is if he doesn't decide to just carry the ball up the pitch himself as he rolls through like a steam train on his way into the attacking third. I heard recently that the fact no one is talking about his massive price tag is proof of just how good he has been, and that statement is absolutely correct. The talk about his price tag went out the window near enough from the first game and it hasn't been mentioned since. Instead, we are all eulogising about his dominance in the Arsenal midfield, and England fans are getting very excited by his incredible talent in the run-up to the Euros. Taking a look at his underlying stats and across the board, whether it be his defensive ones or attacking ones, he comes out incredibly high in near enough every category. Only problem being topped by the next player coming up in this list right now. Centre mid, Rodri. I looked past Rodri in my team of the year and I looked past Rodri in my team of the season last time around, but there is no way I'm doing that within this team of the season. Manchester City have lost 3 of the 4 games that Rodri has missed in the league this season, and with 7 goals and 7 assists in the competition so far, he is proving that he is just as vital to Manchester City's defence as he is their attack. Taking a look at his underlying stats, and there is no other word for it than mind-blowing. Passes attempted, pass completion, progressive passes and progressive carries are all right at the very top of the board, and all of his other stats are right up there among the very best. I'm not sure if I've ever seen someone dominate in so many areas of the game from a statistics point of view, but he is so much more than that. Rodri somehow leads by example with his calm approach, but also leads with passion, and it is simply amazing to watch a player do both of those things whilst consistently being the best player on the pitch. In my eyes, he doesn't just make it into the team of the season, he is the player of the season too. And as we are coming to the end of this brilliant season, I'm asking you who is watching my videos but hasn't subscribed yet to go ahead, do us a solid and click that big red button. Centre attacking mid Cole Palmer got to be the surprise player of the season, hasn't he? Second to only Erling Haaland in the goal scoring charts, Cole Palmer has been a revelation within the Chelsea setup. I've discussed it many times before, but I don't think it can be ignored just how weird of a transfer people thought this was at the start of the season, and me included. The lad clearly had bags of potential, but Chelsea was stacked in the attacking midfield and wing position, so they decided to do a very Chelsea thing or Todd Boehly thing and sign an attacking midfielder slash winger for a heck of a lot of money. But unlike most of the other seemingly illogical signings during this era, Cole Palmer's actually turned out to be a massive hit. With 20 goals and 9 assists, Cole Palmer has a goal contribution for every game played in the league this season. For a 21-year-old in a struggling team, that is simply frightening, and it hints at an even brighter future yet to come. Right mid, Mohamed Salah. Moving on to the right side of the midfield, and there is an obvious exclusion who a lot of people will be pushing for in Bukayo Saka, and that is completely understandable, particularly considering Salah's recent drop in form. But even then, Salah is still coming out on top. You know how I refer to Rodri's unbelievable underlying stats? Well, just look at Salah's. He literally tops all of the shooting stats in this chart, apart from shot creating actions, where he is very high anyway, and right up at the top for touches in the attacking penalty area and progressive passes received. He continues to be an absolute menace for defenders, and despite him being away for AFCON, suffering injury on his return from that competition and not having his goal scoring boots on for the past few weeks, he is still as high as third for most goals and assists combined in the league this season. Yes, his absences could be an argument for why you might pick Saka over him, but they can also be used as an argument to show just how fantastic he has been when he's been available, which has still been 29 games in the league. Saka deserves a place in this team for sure, and make sure to comment down below if he is in yours, but for me, I just can't drop Salah out of this team. Left midfield, Foden. I would have liked to put Foden in the central attacking midfield position, which I think is his best position overall, but Palmer had to be in this team. So for the balance and knowing that Foden can do it, I've shifted him over to the left of midfield, which is just a snippet of the versatility that this guy shows. I think if you had asked 5 people what position Phil Foden plays, you'd arguably get 5 different answers. He can play in central midfield, central attacking mid, right wing, left wing, and even as a false 9 if required, and he plays just as well in every single one of them. His dribbling ability is unmatched and his passing prowess is beyond most players on the planet. Foden is quite literally an artist on the ball and continues to improve his skills every single season. When you think he can't get any better, he just keeps proving you wrong. Covering for KDB when he was out and continuing to be the difference maker in so many games since KDB's return, just how high is Foden's ceiling, and is he ever going to reach it? Striker Erling Haaland onto the last 2 positions on the pitch, and we are starting with the obvious one. Erling Haaland might not be having as record-breaking of a season as he had last year, but with 21 goals in the league so far and topping the scoring charts, he is proving that he can dominate on a consistent basis. A victim of his own high standards, I don't think people are respecting just how superb he has been for Manchester City this season, and to be honest, in this final run of games, he could be the difference in them sealing yet another title victory. A man who doesn't seem to have a weakness to the goal scoring side of his game, it's easy to forget that he is still only 23 years of age. Similarly to Foden, his ceiling seems limitless, and I don't think there is going to be an end to his dominance for a long time. And before I go on to the final position on the pitch, here is a list of honourable mentions who didn't quite make the cut. Guillermo Vicario, Ben White, Kevin De Bruyne, Anthony Gordon, Bukayo Saka, Jarrod Bowen, Dominic Solanke and Alexander Isak. Striker Ollie Watkins, and finishing up with another surprise package this season. We all knew Watkins was a very good player, but who would have predicted that with just 3 games of the season left, he would be topping the charts for most goals and assists combined with 19 goals and 12 assists, leaving a total of 31 goal contributions in the league this season. An absolutely astounding achievement, and there is still time for him to be upping that tally. A goal scorer and a team player and a team pushing for not just Europe but Champions League qualification. Watkins and Aston Villa have taken the league by storm this season, and it has been an absolute joy to behold. The honourable mentions of Dominic Solanke and Alexander Isak deserve a spot in this team, but Watkins has held off all of the competition and not only gets into this team, but if push came to shove, probably gets in ahead of Haaland too. And there we are, guys. That is my Premier League team of the season. Now, as I said in the intro, there probably was 1 or 2 contentious players. Hopefully, at least some of you like the team I picked. But either way, do let me know down in those comments below. And remember to like and subscribe. And while you're at it, why don't you, as always, check me out across all my other socials. I'm on YouTube where you're watching this video. I'm on Twitch where I do all my streaming. I am on Instagram, TikTok, and X, all under the same handle, Bolts96, but the O's 0. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.